here's how I do the dynamic programming. And like I said, some parts of this will be bonus points, some part will be actual questions in the exam that I would expect you to know. All right, so what I want you to know is that these scores here that I put here in the corner, they come from the Blossom matrix, the Blossom 62 matrix. There are different blossoms, but I'll give you an amino acid substitution table, and you're supposed to know what the scores mean. And the positive scores is that that amino acid substitute is likely to substitute for the other more than just chance. And then when it's negative, it means that that substitution occurs less frequently than chance. And then I ask you, why is that? And you're supposed to say, we think it's because that substitution might disrupt the protein function, and it may be lethal, and that's why whoever made that substitution died, and that's why we don't see it. So that's one explanation. All right, so on the matrix, first I write the string here and here, and you might wonder, oh my gosh, well, how about this extra one? This extra one was just in case you wrote that string here and then this one there. It doesn't matter which one you write where. And then you set your initial conditions to 0, which are the Smith-Waterman tweak from the original alignment. And then in here, you fill out in the little corner, because this is not actually the final score, the final solution for each of these. You write the scores that you got from the Blossom 62. They're the score for how many points do you get for agreeing with me? So like, oh, we agree entirely, we get some score. Then asparagine with isoleucine, they're probably pretty different because switching those doesn't happen very often. So it's like, we really don't agree in our taste of music, -3. So what we're looking for, what are the best matches between those two things? And here's the traversing part. We're going to always start on this corner here. There's like lonely, right? There's no letter attached to it. And then we're going to start diagonally. So meaning that there is going to be a score in this cell that is the best solution between going diagonally or horizontally or vertically. So the parts that I wanted to know for the exam is, what does going diagonally mean? It means it's either a match or a mismatch. What does it mean to go horizontally or vertically? It means that you're opening or extending a gap. All right, so if I go diagonally, all I do is I take that Blossom score and I add to the score that was here. In this case, it's 0, so that score is 6. And going vertically, I'm opening a gap. I'm saying this n and this n, it's better to put a gap in there rather than accepting if this was a mismatch. So I take this score of 0, I add that 6, so that's 6. But because I'm going down, and this is my first instance going down in this string, then I'm opening a gap. So I'm going to subtract 6 points, which I put here. We're going to subtract 6 points, and those points in the computer, you can vary, you can tweak them. But so that you don't feel like I'm betraying you, I'm always going to keep it as -6 for opening, -1 for extending. Those are like defaults that you see in alignment programs. Okay, so 0 plus the Blossom score of 6 minus the 6 points for opening, I end up with 0. And if I went to this horizontally, the same thing would happen. It would be 0 plus the Blossom score of 6 minus 6 for going horizontally, 0. Okay, so the next step is I compare these three, 0, 6, and 0, which one is my highest score? And like 6 wins. So the score for this is 6. Wow. And I write the highest score. And the next thing I do is I keep track of how did I end up there. Just think that you are Hansel and Gretel, however it's called. In Portuguese, it's called John and Mary. You know how they are like lost in the forest? They want to be able to go back, so they throw bread or stones, depending which part of the story you are. Because once you get down here, or you're gonna get down here, yeah, Hansel and Gretel. Yeah, in Portuguese is João e Maria. So when we are down here, okay, Hansel and Gretel are in the forest and they want to go back home. They need to be able to trace their way back. So the trace back would be the last step where we are going after the pebbles or the crumbs so to go back to here. But we need to make our way down here. That's what's called traversing the table. So you're like, okay, I got to the first one, go to the next one. And you say N and I have a score of -3. If I go diagonally, it will be 0 minus 3. That's -3, but we're going to round it to 0 because in Smith-Waterman, whenever something is negative, we round to 0. So this way is 0. And then these guys are going to also be 0 because I'll have 0, -3, -3, -6 for opening a gap, -9 rounds to 0. So it doesn't matter which one is more negative. And then 6, oh, actually this way, maybe 6 -3, 3, -6, -3, also 0. So you have a 0, 0, 0. Your best score is 0. And doesn't matter which way you went there. So there is really no point on keeping because you're not choosing which one is best. So you just put the 0 there. And you keep doing this. I'm going to do this next one because we have like 4 more minutes. And I want to show you, okay, once I finish this row, I go next to the next row and my diagonal is this way. And then I have my horizontal and my vertical. So I do 0 plus the blossom score of -3, -3. 0 plus the blossom score of -3, -3. -6, -9. So this is going to be 0. That's going to be 0, round to 0. And then down, this was 6. 6 -3, 3. But since I'm going down, I have to subtract 6. So in this case, doesn't matter either. It's all 0. All right, this one, maybe this will change things. At one point, it starts getting more exciting. All right, so if I try diagonal, then I'll go 6, that's the previous score, plus the blossom score of 4, that's 10. Woohoo! So that one is 10. And this one will be 0 plus 4 -6. Hold on, there's some question. Yes, actually the answer is in that file. You will see. I know you're dying to know. So 0 plus 4 -6 because it's opening a gap, or 0 plus 4 -6 for opening a gap. So the opening a gap here is not a good idea. Going diagonally means that you either have a match or you're accepting a mismatch. So in this case, doesn't matter what it is, we're going to go diagonally because that's the highest score. And the score here is 10. So it's 10 because it was that 6 plus this 4. And you're like, ooh, I want to keep track of that. Remember, I want to be able to go back home when I'm left in the forest. Forest down here. So you keep doing this, and I'm going to show you where the answer is so that you can see toward the end what happens after we finish the table. No, not that. I actually want this one. Because I know you want to know the answer. What's the answer to that? Okay, so you actually have this file posted under PowerPoint files. I'm so excited about this stuff. And then here is me. In here, I put just part of the Blossom 62, which I meant to help, but some students felt it was confusing because then it's yet another table. But these are the parts of the Blossom 62 scores that I just needed for this alignment. In the exam, I don't do this part anymore because, like I said, this was more confusing to people. I just go like Google Blossom 62 and find the matrix, or I'll give you one. So this part is how far I got. But I want to show you what happens all the way to the end when you fill out everything. So this is called traversing the table. And it's like, oh, left in the forest. So here, we got to the end. And if I went diagonally, I got like 15 points. If I went down, I got, wait, here. If I went diagonally, so I tried to do it like in red, that little thing didn't, anyway, from here to here, I got 15 points. So this was 11. And the match of A and A is 4. That's how I end up with 15 here. Or if I went down, I would get 12. Or if I went like this, I would get this. So on this last spot, you have to say, okay, if I took this route, how many points do I add? So Hansel and Gretel are in the forest, and now they're going back home. So here, what if it went this way, from here to here, 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 here? How many points do I get? And then from here going this way, how many points do I get? This was a tricky alignment for the computer, actually, because there were two different possible alignments that both added to 58 when you do what's called the trace back. But we know that this one is a better one because we'd rather introduce a gap here and have a match here rather than a mismatch and a gap. So this was just, normally there is one that's better than the other. We know it's this one, and this would score more highly, but somehow they both scored the 58. But no out of time, so that is where I opened the gap. Here, see how I went vertically here? How do I know I opened the gap? Because that H, this H here matches that N, but that N is already married to this one. So that H is that hyphen there. And this guy here, it's this A and this A, except that this A is already married to that H, so that the last A got lonely. So that's the one that has a hyphen there. Okay, I'll see you on Friday. Thank you, guys. I hope you had fun.